this was it. This was the moment. This was the week I discovered that nothing will ever make me happy, ever. Super fascinating. Learning a lot about myself. Okay.
Okay, now talk. Okay, the audio. Okay, I fixed the audio. Now talk.
Oh, so no one heard my intro.
I don't know what they heard.
Okay, everybody.
They heard
Basic
it on my stream because I do
Okay.
co-stream these.
Okay.
For people that want to watch me draw. Everyone heard that you're a monster on my stream.
Okay, I just want to just summarize then. Hey everyone. So basically I'm an extremely ambitious person. I have always been an extremely ambitious person. And I this is just kind of how I've always been. I've always wanted to achieve more and to accomplish more. And it has an interesting side effect, and that side effect is you are literally never fucking happy with anything. Like anything
Oh,
at
okay.
all.
Apparently, everyone heard your intro, and then that was it.
Okay. But yeah, I'm just like I remember in the lead up to the Kickstarter. Here's the thing. In the lead up to the Kickstarter, sorry, crowdfund, excuse me. In the lead up to the crowdfund, I'm kind of the one that was in charge of all the math and the sort of I've done this 38 times, here's what I honestly think kind of advice on everything. I did a bunch of stuff, but that was like primarily what I brought to the table as a unique talent. And I was talking to Tracy and I was like, okay, so here's what the stretch goal should be, and the last one should be $1 million. And a bunch of people who were in the call at the time were like, okay, wow, I don't know if that's a good idea. And I was like, here's the thing. You don't need to worry about will we hit $1 million. You need to worry about are we going to blow through all of our stretch goals on day one and then have nothing to talk about for the rest of the crowdfund? Because where everything is right now, that's what it's looking like. Because I'm using the most pessimistic numbers. And by the way, even the most pessimistic numbers, completely wrong. Um, Frankly, the most optimistic numbers were completely wrong. And I was just like, you can't top everything out at 300,000 because it would just take a couple thousand people to absolutely smash that, and then we're gonna be fucking like sitting here with our asses in our hands and have nothing to talk about for 4 weeks. So they listened to me and they did the 1 million, and that took a little that took 6 days, 6 days. And while it was counting up, my husband, the man who has been with me since I was 21, I should note, so he has known me for over half my life now. He would just look at me and he'd be like, "This isn't going to make you happy." And I'm like, "Yes, it will. I would love having $1 million Kickstarter." And he's like, "I'm not saying you won't like it. I'm saying it won't make you happy because the minute you hit it, you'll decide it's not shit and you'll want more because that's what you've always done for your entire life. And it's going to be incredibly funny the day you look me in the eye and you act like $1 million is not a big deal." And I'm like, that's not going to happen because that is an irrational thing to do. And it sure as shit happened. And he started just literally laughing in my face because he was like, hey, yeah, the crowdfund made $1 million.
Because he knows that you're a monster.
And I was all like, yeah, but it needs to make twice that. And he's like, he's just like, you have no idea how completely insane you sound when you say these things. And it's like, well, no, I'm just being reasonable. And he's like, no,
Have
you're
you
not. You're not
have
being
you
reasonable.
have you thought about therapy? This is not a joke.
No, because I like being this way. It's helped
You
me
do?
accomplish a lot.
You
It's
like
helped
never
me-
being happy?
it's helped me accomplish a lot.
That sounds exhausting. I can't.
Here's
Ugh.
When Spike says she's never happy, that's a lie because she does get a great satisfaction when her enemies fail.
no, no,
Um
no, not just
and
when they fail, when they have to watch me win. That's an important one too.
both. You want both
Yes.
to happen
Well,
simultaneously and that's what makes you happy.
this
Yes.
Um
this crowdfund has the thing about the whole $1 million thing is sometimes when you see like a really popular graphic novel has like a $200,000 goal and it hits 1 million or something like that. They don't
Mhm.
need the million. They just went way over. The
Yes.
thing with Lackadaisy is all of that money is accounted for. That's literally when we say, oh, this will get you 5 episodes. Yeah, this is mostly going to cover
Yeah.
5 episodes.
Absolutely. And it's going to go a long way to helping establish independent animation as a general thing, too. And I'm really excited to be a part of that, especially with how shitty things seem to be in sort of the corporate mainstream world of animation
Well,
these
that's
days.
why I more mean like when people are surprised, like, wow, how did it do that? It's like, well, that is the cost of a 5 episode season, and people want a 5 episode season. That's how it
Yeah.
happens.
And I should note here, everyone, like, of course, here's the thing. If Lackadaisy stopped at like $998,258, that is not really qualitatively different from 1 million, right? We can all agree on that. But something happens when you tick over into the seven figures. Like everything completely changes for certain
That
people.
comma confuses me.
Yeah. When you tick over into the seven figures, something just radically changes.
Like,
And
doesn't it make sense? Like, shouldn't there? No, I guess it does make sense for there to be a comma in there. I just don't
no,
like
there should
it.
be no, commas are helpful.
It just looks weird. I don't like it.
And just right, like there's weird shit going on right now. Like I'm sure you all can guess, but there's just really weird shit going on right now.
As opposed to other
the
times.
main downside to running crowd funds is any success is extremely conspicuous. And there are people who don't deal with the success of others well. And there we go. And it's fucking weird. It's fucking weird. What I'm primarily talking about, by the way, is just like there was a person.
Your haters.
Not so much my haters, but there was a person who it was so bizarre. And maybe you noticed if you watch my Bird app, I added a question to the Lackadaisy FAQ, the project FAQ. There was a person who decided we were scabs.
Okay.
Yeah, it's yeah.
Well, that's been
because
that's
people don't know how things work.
well,
Yeah.
no. It's people don't know how things works, and some people just don't care. They're gonna find anything. Like people have been throwing
Yeah.
the scab thing at a lot of things that isn't related to, and it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's kind of embarrassing because it's like, so here's the thing: when you do that, what it tells me is you don't actually care about Hollywood writers and Hollywood actors. You don't give a shit, and I know you don't give a shit because you haven't done even the most basic remedial research on what's going on. Because if you did, you'd understand. You sound like an idiot right now. it's like the point of boycotts isn't everybody stop everything right now. The point of boycotts is to target a specific grievance in management and ownership and to address that grievance with a work stoppage and therefore change the conditions under which the work is being provided.
They're not doing a boycott right now. They're doing a strike.
Yes.
And those are different. Yeah. So
but a strike is kind of like the same thing. It's a work stoppage to address grievances, and those grievances need to be addressed to the ruling body. And
like
we are not a member of the ruling body. We are literally as outside Hollywood as you can get.
It's first of all, and
it's like so insane. It's so insane. Go for it, Kel. Sorry, I was like so blown away when I saw it.
Because it's like animation's a different union.
Yes.
also, independent productions have been making deals with SAG and the WAG, whatever the writers,
Yeah.
um,
WGA.
um, yes, that,
The Writers Guild of America.
like,
Waga.
yes, so, cause it came out that A24 got permission
That does not
to
surprise me.
continue production, um because they were like, yeah, okay, we'll do all the things that you want.
Yeah, yeah, that does not surprise me in the slightest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm super
um
not surprised that someone like made that accusation just because of course someone was gonna like
Yeah,
I
it
could have
sounds good. It sounds good.
well
And they
pe-
literally called SAG like they were tattling to the playground monitor.
yeah.
I'm just like, "Oh, you told me you did that. That's so embarrassing for you." Like what did this poor person on the other end of the phone tell you, like when you came up and you tugged at their apron and they looked down and they saw like the one cartoon dribble of snot coming out of your nose while you pointed at the teacher, they're making a cartoon. And they're not
I would
supposed
love
to. Says who?
I
You.
would love to know how SAG responded to that email.
I don't think they called them.
They claim they did, and SAG told them like that's we don't give a shit. They claim they did, and it's just one of those things. And it's like, oh, okay, so it's like, did you get an explanation, or did they literally just comprehend your level of understanding was so low that you weren't worth the bother? I'm curious.
Who knows?
I do know one of the criticisms of SAG is that um
Mhm.
they frequently ignore voice actors or
Oh
like
yeah,
only sometimes cover them.
yeah.
Um
Cartoons and video games are kind of in a sort of a weird swimmy gray area in a lot of ways.
well, so like animation has its own union,
Yeah.
and it's then like when it comes to voice actors, there's a lot of gray area and people that it's also snobbery, the same
Oh
reason
yeah.
why
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like uh so yeah, so
Snobbery is a huge thing. Absolute.
yeah, it's
Honestly,
interesting that now SAG wants to get influencers into SAG.
really?
Yeah, they're really trying to push for that. I think it's because influencers were the first people that like Paramount and Warner Brothers and whatnot went to
With
like
with the bad
to get
contracts?
scabs.
Oh,
Yeah,
scabs.
to get
Okay.
to get scabs.
Oh, that sucks.
So there's a lot of YouTubers I follow that are like, I'm not going to talk about any media produced by um
These, yeah.
the production companies that are getting struck.
Yeah.
Um but yeah, they released some rules they would like influencers to follow.
Oh, that's nice of them.
And well, it's a little weird because it's like video essayist is not an actor, like
Yeah, that's true.
it's one of those things where they're maybe overreaching, but
Hmm. Yeah, there's a lot of
yeah.
gray area in general when it comes to kind of like the purview of everything. And one of the things when you talked about snobbery, Kel, one of the things that immediately sprung to mind is I also follow a lot of people who basically just they talk on YouTube for a living, like that's their job.
Hmm.
And there is definitely a sharp and deep line of demarcation between what is perceived in Hollywood as like the influencer, YouTube, Twitch crowd and actual celebrities. And there's this one person that I watch. I think he I think it was Swoozy who did this, but he was in a mixed set of both influencer types and Hollywood types. And he was not hitting his marks during the production for whatever reason. And they actually stopped the production, and the person in charge walked up and said, "And this is why you are big on YouTube and you're not big here." And that just struck me as like, holy fuck, that's some Mean Girls level shit. Like you had to actually just
That
say
is completely unnecessary.
that is some Mean
Like,
Girls shit. That is
There
you're
are
a person who
plenty of
can't dodge.
actors that aren't YouTubers that are shit at meeting their marks and whatnot.
Yeah.
And
But damn, can you even imagine being dressed down like that in front of like, camera people and like craft
well, see
services and
that's like
actors and
actually a thing that I've heard a lot of people complain about. Like, so I've been listening to the Always Sunny podcast, which is now on hiatus for obvious reasons.
uh-huh.
Um, and one of the things is the guy who played Dennis um was in the TV show Fargo. Um and just talked about like how awful the vibe was on set because the director was a shitty person.
Uh-huh.
And he didn't name names, but it was stuff like the script said he had to answer a phone, and
Yeah.
he asked, "How am I answering the phone?" Asking for direction from the director.
Right.
And the director's like, "Have you never answered a phone before?"
Wow. Or you could do your
And
job, director.
and um because he is comfortable in his career having been one of the creators of Always Sunny, so even if this job doesn't work out, he has a place to go back to. He had the confidence to say, "Yes, I've answered a phone before. What I am asking you is, my character's hands are full, so how
Mm.
is he picking up the phone, like, to answer it? Like, what do you want me to do, director?" Basically, like, to
Mhm.
do your job. And the director didn't fuck with him or belittle him like that again.
Yeah, I'll
But
bet.
the people who weren't as famous or well known as him,
Mhm.
like, he continued to be a shitheel to. Like,
I could believe it.
and like, so that sounds like it's not just a Hollywood influencer thing. It is people abusing their power to get off.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of that.
And it just, that was the vector of which he found it acceptable to berate a guy.
Yeah.
Um
Yeah, there's I just okay. So the question has come up at this point now. It's like, do you really need to be in Chicago? The answer is yes, by the way. And when when I
Why would
tried
you
to
need to leave Chicago?
LA people want you to be in LA.
yeah,
But
that's
why?
kind of the long and short of it there.
But why?
Well, a good example is well, when Lackadaisy's pilot launched, there was like a party there, and then right now, for 2 nights in a row, Tracy and Fable are in LA hosting Secret Movie Club, and a lot of this is sort of like tip of the iceberg stuff there. And I have said that no, I'm happy to fly out a couple times a year, but I don't want to live there. And whenever I feel pressured to elaborate on why I don't want to live in LA, the most honest way I could say it is LA is full of the kind of people who move to LA. And I don't want to say that because I have friends in LA who are wonderful people. Fable Siegel is a wonderful person. They live in LA. I have no issue with Fable. I have no
You also
issue
don't have a
with
reason to move to LA. That's the other thing. You don't have a reason.
we are not going to elaborate, but I don't I'm not a fan of like the scene. So
Well, the thing is, it's they want you to be in LA so they can waste your time taking you out to lunches and dinners and whatnot. And
I'm going to eat chips. If it bothers
Eat
anyone,
chips.
tell me.
Eat those fucking chips.
uh,
Show those
and,
chips his boss.
and I was getting advice on getting a Hollywood agent for my stuff. And was talking to a Hollywood guy that I know because I drew a comic for him. And he was giving me some advice, and he's like, so what did they tell you? And they're like, well, it's easier to make this happen if you're in LA. And he was like, the pandemic has proven that that's bullshit. They just want to strong arm you into moving to LA. You don't actually have to do that.
Yeah, much less so than ever these days. Yeah. And also, like, absolutely fuck you if you think I'm gonna like pay $3,500 a month in rent for like a shoebox, or buy like a house half the size of the condo I currently live in for $2 million. Like, fuck you, absolutely fuck you if you think that's happening.
It's just too warm.
It's not quite that bad.
It's bad. It's bad.
It's bad, but it's not.
LA real estate
house half the size of your place is $2 million.
I've been in multiple.
Your place is $2 million.
LA is offensive when it comes to real estate.
Yeah,
it's like
I know.
actually offensive.
Every place is offensive.
I'm aware.
Yeah, it's yeah. Layla is saying being in Chicago seems ideal for coordinating between coastal time zones. It actually kind of is. I'm glad I'm not on the East Coast anymore. I can tell you that, because I work with so many people on the left coast, and 2 hours time difference. Yeah, well, that's what it is. 2 hours time
difference. The West Coast, not the left coast.
I did not stutter. Anyway,
it's the right coast if you're facing south, Spike.
I'm talking about looking at the map. It's the left coast. Anyway.
Flat Earther.
I'm ignoring you all. 2 hours time difference isn't that bad. I think when you start going higher than that is when you have issues coordinating. It's not Toronto bad. It's bad.
I'm at the point where I'm never moving anywhere unless someone pays me to move. That's it. That's just where I am. I don't want to move. I don't want to. Yeah.
I absolutely, like, I have a life here as a,
my apartment is made out of tissue paper and broken dreams, and I'm happy. I'm fine.
Yeah. I've mentioned this many times before. We lucked out with the last real estate crash, and we got a place we really should not be able to afford, and we like it here.
I need to move because I'm allergic to outside.
Yes.
Oh dear. What part of outside?
All of it.
The pollen?
The grass,
all of it.
Mostly,
all of outside.
The air?
I mean, yeah.
I am allergic to grass pollen. And
that'll get you.
I looked up top 10 best and worst places to live if you are allergic to grass.
Time to move to Phoenix.
The nudist says Chicago has one of the best reptile expos in the country.
It's true. If you watch Snake Discovery on YouTube, you can see them do that expo every year.
Let's go,
and
Spike.
You can see. Yeah, I mean, it already happened this year, I'm pretty sure.
I plan to be here for many years, Spike.
But yeah, that's where you can go, and you can see like the ball pythons they've bred to look like panda bears and shit.
Spike, let's go.
Let's go.
Let's do a trip.
Let's go. We'll see the Snake Discovery people there. It'll be fun.
I don't know who they are. I don't care. I just want to look at the snakes.
Yeah, Snake Discovery is a channel on YouTube. I think you'd like it, Amanda. It's this married couple who run a snake zoo.
I'm gonna be honest. After being like scarred multiple times, I don't watch couples who have exotic pet channels anymore.
Uh-oh. That's very specific. What happened?
They almost always break bad.
Oh dear.
They almost always break bad. It just
is this about the lady with the pufferfish?
No, not specifically.
Okay.
This is about when I say I've been scarred, this has happened many times.
Oh.
It just couples with exotic animals who make their living off of the views their animals get.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure these people are wonderful. I'm just saying I've been hurt before. I can't do it again.
Yeah. It's actually kind of okay. So I'm just gonna describe. See, I'm glad the nudist is here because I know your thing is like amphibians and axolotls and such, but maybe you kind of dabble in reptile YouTube because I'm gonna describe the channels I watch right now, and there are a few. My current favorite is a man who was on Ink Master and lost half a finger to a cobra bite and still insists on handling cobras directly. I also like the snake discovery people who are fabulous, and they just run their snake petting zoo and they hatch their babies and they laugh about being constantly bit. I also watch a guy who used to run a reptile rescue and then kind of fell off the internet for a couple months, and then he came back talking about how his business failed and he just didn't want to do it anymore. And it was very vulnerable and it made me like him a lot. And now he is an Amazon delivery driver and he talks about that and what he does all day
Yeah,
and what it's like being an Amazon delivery driver.
I agree with nudist.
Hmm.
Also because of my Texan accents, it sounds like I'm saying nudist. No, I'm saying it's newt,
Yeah.
nudist.
Yeah,
Um,
and that's who I was getting to nudist. Then there's a guy who goes by Viper Keeper and it feels like I'm watching a slow motion snuff film.
yeah, I was about to say. I agree with nudist. People who handle hots are insane.
They're completely insane. I don't
I,
get it. I don't get it.
it's bonkers.
Because like it's
Oh, for
apparently
those who
super.
don't know, hots are basically the venomous snakes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. If you want to see somebody handling hots, there's a YouTuber by Viper Keeper, and
A
it's
YouTuber, there's so many.
yeah, but I'm talking about one specific one. Viper Keeper has an entire basement. The thing that gives me the heebie-jeebies, like the jumbo XXL heebie-jeebies about Viper Keeper, is apparently it's like a totally normal thing for people who keep a lot of snakes. One day a snake will just get out and you won't see it for like 2 months because of their because of their metabolism. They don't need to eat constantly, and if a snake just like gets out of its enclosure and finds a spot it can squeeze into, it might just chill there for 2 months and you just don't see it.
There is a YouTuber who posts shorts, and I like, oh, he is so funny. He makes all these shorts, and oh, they're so funny. Oh, how
Hmm.
funny. Then he posted videos like, oh, I got some snakes in the mail, and he opened up like the box, like the Tupperware they were in, with one hand while the other one was recording. They were not double bagged. They were not single bagged. They were just in the Tupperware with holes, and he just opened it. I'm like, what? I can't watch you anymore because you're. No, you're off
Yeah.
my list because I refuse to watch. Like, be like, oh, that guy you like died. I'm like, no, I'm cutting myself off. You can't hurt me anymore.
Yeah.
The
I
other
was
thing,
just
I've mentioned it in
okay.
other episodes before, at least a few times, but just because it's fascinating.
Hmm.
The fact that you can never get bit by a snake but still come in contact with their venom because like it's in their spit and it gets
Yeah.
everywhere, and
Yeah.
therefore you can become sensitized to their venom,
Yep.
basically develop an allergy to it, and you have no idea. Then one day it bits you, and even if the bite wouldn't have originally killed you, it kills you now.
Yeah. Yeah. You'd never know that you have a sensitivity to it until it's too
Yep.
late. You don't have time to get to
They're
the
like, why
hospital.
isn't the anti-venom working? Oh, because it's not. Because that's not the part that's actually killing you. It's the
Yeah,
allergic
there is
reaction.
I was listening to Viper Keeper kind of chat casually with his wife because his wife is his camera person when he's doing all his horrible terrifying things. And he is answering questions from the audience and one of them was like, what do you do when, the snake falls off the handling hook you're using or what starts to get away from you? And he's just very casually saying, "Oh yeah, yeah, well, we do our best to make sure that doesn't happen. If I have to grab them with my hand, I grab the tail and keep the head away from me. It's imperative you keep control of the snake. But I also work with babies. As you all know, I breed, and the babies are very small and the babies are very wiggly and they hatch with fully potent venom. And let's just say, theoretically, one got away from me and it was slithering away. At that point, I step on it. I kill it because I can't have a baby gaboon viper lost in my basement. And it's just like, Jesus Christ. Just a horrible thought. Just because I hear from these people who keep snakes, and it's like they lose a snake, and it literally they don't see it for a month and a half. And what they keep an eye out for is the shed, because the snake doesn't have to fucking move. It's a snake. But the only time it does move is when it needs to shed, because it needs to come out and rub against things. So they look for shed skin, and that's their last hint where the snake was, and they have to wait like a month for that. It's like, I can't live that way. I can't. Just imagine having a fucking venomous, just a deadly venomous snake just in your basement and you don't know where. Horrifying.
That's why if I had a snake, I'd want one of the big bastards, or the big python bastards.
Yeah, I'd be okay with one of the weirder cutie pie ball pythons. And I know that's basic bitch behavior, but they come in fascinating colors, so.
They're
Oh,
very
well.
cute. They have uwu
Yeah.
faces.
They do have very woo faces.
And they kind of look. There are lots. I know, like, intelligence is not something you can really rank
Uh-huh.
the reptiles on, because we have human biases. We don't actually know how that
Yeah.
applies. But there are lots of snakes that you look in their eyes and you're like, oh, they're clever. They're thinking about how to get out and how to get
Yeah.
in. Then there's some snakes you're like, oh, you're dumb as shit. And that might not have any basis on how smart the snake is, but like, there's something about ball pythons and stuff where you look at them and you're like, no thoughts.
Oh, I forgot. I want to recommend another person. Amanda, you might like this guy because he's fun. I think his YouTube name is Leafy Street. He has what he refers to as his tiny lesbian gecko army because he keeps mourning geckos.
And
And
those the ones that asexually reproduce?
yeah, they clone. They are all female. Every single mourning gecko is female, and they lay eggs that are just clones.
And aren't they kind of a problem, because if they like get out, it would like devastate the local ecosystem?
Yeah, because they don't need to find a mate. They just lay eggs, and he has his mourning geckos, which are his tiny lesbian gecko army, and they lay eggs all the time, and it's fun watching him take care of them.
No
sure if you
bongos.
Googled-
No bongos.
I'm
Go
sure if
away.
you search YouTube for tiny lesbian gecko army, you would find him. I almost called my boot not well, yeah, I'm actually on. See, this is gonna sound basic as shit. I'm actually on Morph Market right now, which is where you go if you want to buy a snake through the mail. Everyone, and in case you didn't know, ball pythons come in all kinds of wacky
Oh, yeah.
colors, and morphs, and it's just so cool. It's like absolutely crazy. I like to do the thing where you can sort by price, highest first, and just see what the craziest, hottest shit out there is right now. Because like all the new morphs are the ones that are just, that'll be $30,000, please. And yeah, I'm seeing a lot of white ball pythons. I'm seeing, oh my god, what the fuck?
See, this is one of the. I always love like comparing my rats to like other pets, because you'll have someone going, "Oh, this is my rat line. I've been breeding them for years. They are they've ribboned in rat shows. It's a stellar line. It's a double Rex agouti with Dumbo ears and
Yep.
bicolor eyes." And I'm like, oh gosh, how much is that? $50. That's just how rats are. It's just, they're not even like the fanciest one you can. I don't think I've ever seen one more than like $100, because it's just like, so like, it's just always funny. I'm like, oh, that must be a very fancy rat. I'm like, oh, like my old rat, Oreo McFlurry. He was like my fanciest. He was a Rex that resulted in him being curly and fluffy. He had Dumbo ears. He had a little cap coloration. He kind of looked like a teddy bear. And it was like, oh, how fancy. Yeah, that one was $20.
Oh. See, I'm going to look for a photo right now. I love showing this to people because people are like, what is wrong with that animal? And it's like, nothing. People did that on purpose. They're supposed to look that way. Let's see. Oh,
Speaking
no,
of rats, Ravioli is menacing them again.
Why is Ravioli menacing?
Because she's a demon and she wants to eat my boys.
Oh, she's not permitted though.
She's not.
I am posting a picture right now in the Slack. Not the Slack, sorry. The Discord.
Yeah,
Do you
most
see that?
ratteries don't really
Do you,
make a lot of money. That's why they actually close a lot.
do you see the baby?
No, because I'm trying to monitor 3 different things. Let me go look. Did
Okay,
you put it in
yeah.
the?
It's the latest one. Yeah, it's in the
See, I
general.
don't like those.
It's
They wig me out because
Yeah, yeah,
they look like if I touch it, the skin will fall off. I don't like it.
yeah. I am
It's
showing
not the
Amanda.
same quality as like a hairless cat or a rat or whatever. It
Yeah,
has a translucence to it that is
yeah.
upsetting me.
I'm showing Amanda and Kel the snake equivalent of like a sphinx. It is a snake with no
I don't
scales.
like it.
It just has no scales. It's just a flesh tube. They have figured out a way to breed ball pythons without
I
scales,
don't
and
like that.
they are just like flesh tubes.
God,
They
do
have
they have like?
wrinkles. And when they like, here's the thing that I think is like super like gross and also cool. When they shed their skin, because scaleless ball pythons do shed their skins. When they shed, it's kind of like if you've ever like chewed a piece of skin off your lip. It's like all thin and just a single
Don't
layer.
call me out.
Like that's what they shed. It's wild.
I wear lipstick
Sometimes
for
they
a
need
reason.
help. And you have to be careful with them because they can't just be on any substrate because they have no
Yeah, I was
protection.
about to say it. Like they just, I look at it and I'm like you look at a hairless rat or a cat. I'm like, I bet that's soft to pet. I look at this and it's like, I'm worried if I sneeze on it, I'll like deglove it. I don't like it. I don't like it. It's bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exotic
I
pets, I feel like I did you. By the way, did you know rats are considered exotics?
huh.
Yeah, vets
Probably so
consider
vets
them
can charge
exotics.
more.
It's wild. It's like, oh, this is an exotic pet. Um, it's wild, but no. Proper exotics. It's always wild how people act about exotic pets. Like you have some people who, this is a cool pet. I like it, and then you have other like people who really do the. I have a special bond with this animal, and it would never hurt me. And it's like, no,
No, no, no, no.
Ravioli bit my ankle this morning, and I think she loves me, but she still bit my ankle.
Yeah, she's
Even
got
if that's
instincts.
even if you told me this snake loves me and it was true, that doesn't mean the snake can't bite you. You
Yep.
always like I remember I was watching a live stream and some YouTubers this is just one of those conversations that was like I wanted to jump through the screen and like, you dipshits. Someone was talking about like, oh, I'd love a giant cat as a pet. Like yeah,
Mhm.
my cats would never hurt me. It's like,
Yeah, they would. Yeah, they would.
they could hurt you and they wouldn't even mean it. If you like turned
Yeah.
a cat into the size of a tiger, it could love you dearly and never want to hurt you, and it will still probably accidentally kill you.
Yeah, it makes me think about all the times cats hurt people without really meaning to.
Again,
Like we've
my
all
ankle.
seen that footage of the streamer who was just like holding and cuddling her cat and it just battered her face and its claw like caught the sclera of her eye and the next thing you know her entire eye is full of blood. Like it didn't mean to do that, but it happened.
it did. It totally intended to do that. It wanted her to. It wanted her eye dead.
Okay, my mom has 3 Persian cats, the sweetest, squishiest, softest baby. I I don't even think I've ever heard them hiss. Just gentle creatures, and yet they have smacked me when I've like just stood and when I've overstayed my welcome and clawed me.
Yeah.
Imagine it big.
Yeah.
I have been
Yeah,
disemboweled.
one of the things that I think about a lot, like a lot of people are super into like giant dog breeds too. They like their dog breeds like 200 pounds, like Cane Corsos or something like that. And I mean, part of me understands, part of me gets the appeal, but
Oh, I
also
love
like
giant dogs.
that is a dog that it can't play with you. There's a lot it kind of can't
No,
do once it gets
those
to the
those
size of a literal
dogs
person.
are intentionally bred to be the laziest, chillest motherfuckers on the world in the world because they can't play with you.
Well,
like
also they
they're
have slower metabolisms too, so they actually sleep a lot.
Yeah, and
yeah.
I just think about my by the way, for folks who do not know, my pit bull Lucinda passed away pretty recently,
bull.
and that is part of why I decided not to live stream last week, because I had the sads because my dog of 11 years died. But one of the things she would do, especially when she was young, when she got really riled up, is she would leap directly at you and then vault off of your thigh. So she would take her 50-pound body and hurl herself at you and then plant her front and back legs in succession on your thigh and then use that to leap away from you. And Lucy, at her heaviest, where the vet would like give me, the stink eye when I brought her in, and just be like, you need to fix your fucking dog. Your
Meatloaf.
dog's fat. She was 50 pounds.
Dog's fat.
And that shit hurt. That shit really hurt at 50 pounds.
See,
And I just think about like a Cane Corso just like giving me a playful bump and just sending me sprawling, because that's again like 150
I
years
I
of-
have a size. Oh,
I would love an Irish wolfhound.
Oh God. Thank you, folks. You're very kind.
They're so
Lucy
big.
Lucy lived a
See,
good
I have a-
life, I think.
I have a size limit for animals I keep, and it's mostly for two reasons. One, I don't want any animal that it's getting into trouble. I can't just pick it up and remove it from whatever it's doing.
Yes.
That's
yes.
I want to be able to go, "Oh no, you don't," and pick it up and walk away with it.
Yeah.
Two, I want them to know that there is still the chance I could eat them if they misbehave. And that threat should always be like, you're here by my good graces. I love you dearly, but this could change. Watch your shit.
Well-
Right on cue, you little monster!
Are the rats fighting?
No, Ravioli wrapped herself around my ankle. Come here.
Oh. But yeah, Lucy.
Ravioli would like to show Amanda who's boss.
Yeah, I think that was
yeah,
her being
Lucy
like,
is,
I could eat you. Watch this. Come here.
Yeah, Lucy was going downhill for a bit there, and she was on a lot of meds, and she needed a lot of help, and her back legs started failing her. So this did not come out of nowhere, and not to be like really horrible and like bring the room down, but she died in her own bed on her own sort of time. We did not
Come
have
on.
her put to sleep or anything. And the thing, I think the memory that's gonna stay with me most is
You can't have my chips.
Matt and I kind of have very opposite schedules during the week. Whereas he sleeps at night and I like to work through the night. And then he, works through the day and I usually nap until noon. And that way we always had an eye being kept on Lucy. Because at that point she was fully fecally and urinarily incontinent. She needed diaper changes and she needed to be fed and watered. And at that point we were syringe feeding her food and water. And we like to give her like two or three syringes of food an hour or every other hour, depending on whether she was throwing up recently or not. And then 2 syringes of water just to keep her hydrated and fed. And I remember one night I was up with her, and this is like her final night. I was up with her and she was lying on her bed, and I noticed her eyes were doing this thing. It's hard to describe. People with very poor vision, their eyes will do this thing where it kind of like wobbles in their head, like they're not really looking at anything, and it just moves. And I noticed Lucy's eyes were doing that. And I came up and I did a thing that sometimes you'll see vets do to pets, which you kind of do the thing where it looks like you're going to smack them in the face. Like you just, you pull your punch really close to their eyes. And she had no response. And just like there was just no response
Oh,
there.
see,
She
I
was
do
just
the ear flick.
She was just lying on her bed with her eyes wobbling. And I was just like, she's gone. Like she is absolutely gone. There's nothing in there anymore. And that day was the day we began like calling vets and kind of checking out our options. And I remember that the vet recommended an in-home euthanasia service, and we called them, and they were all like, yeah, we can do it. We've got a spot open on Sunday. And at the time this was happening, this was like, God, I don't even remember. Hold on, let me get this. This was happening on like the 28th of July. So this was happening on like Friday. And we were calling the home euthanasia people. I'm like, first of all, home euthanasia is like fucking $580.
Okay,
But-
I heard none of that.
Oh, sorry. Home euthanasia is like $580 fucking dollars. Holy shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, we called them. They're like, yeah, we have a spot open Sunday. And we're like, okay, well, we'll call you back when we decide what to do. And we hung up because Matt was there at the time. And we hung up and we just looked at each other. It's like, she is not making it till Sunday. And like, that's
Oh,
maybe
honey.
she had died like, she died like maybe 3 hours after we took that call. Like, it was very, when,
Yeah, we were supposed to have a meeting at 9 my time and 11 your time, and you told me that you wanted to cancel the meeting because you thought Lucy was going to die. And in the time it took me to send an email to a creator with info about their book, aka answer is delayed because Spike's dog is very sick. And the time it took me to write that email,
mhm.
you had posted Lucy had died. Like,
Yeah, yeah, it was very obvious. Like when I did the eye test, and it was like she could not. Her eyes were wide open, and she could not see. It was clear she was going. But anyway, Lucy is now in my freezer
Yeah.
because I want her skull.
Yeah.
And the last couple days have been sort of consulting with people who do this sort of thing, and I'm genuinely shocked that there's no one local who does it. Like, no one. It's kind of ridiculous. But we're probably gonna have to ship her. Unfortunately, these people do it so much. And here's the thing: like the parameters we're gonna be using for shipping, they're not unusual because this country is full of trophy hunters who are super proud of the deer they killed last season, and they really, really want a mount of it. So shipping dead, frozen, solid animals is not nearly as unusual as you might suppose. So we have everything we need to do. You know, we have the idea of like the ice packs, the boxes, the insulation. We might put her in a cooler or something. And now it's kind of coming down to choosing between the people we've found. And it's, I'll tell you this much, it's cheaper than getting her home euthanized because that didn't even include cremation.
Well, I mean, home euthanasia costs a lot because they have lots of equipment. They have to bring like all of their
Mhm.
medication. They because they have to mix it when they get there. Like they have
It
to
was
wait.
only $100 more expensive than the vet, though.
Yeah.
That's still insane.
Yeah.
Nudist. I do not need some domestics. For what it sounds, I know I sound like kind of a hard ass right now, but I don't think I could bear to do that to my own dog. Also, I would have like no place to do it.
Yeah. Dog big.
Dog big.
Dog bigger
Lucy,
than.
yeah, she spent her life 50 pounds. When she died, she was about 35, but she spent her life 50 pounds. So she was a solid loaf of a dog.
Yeah.
she's a potato.
My mom was
Yeah.
pretty horrified when she found out that like after my rats die, they end up in the freezer for a little while.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I want to bury
Mhm.
them in nature, but
Yeah.
I can't
I
do
just
that now.
I just
It's
really want her
2
skull.
a.m.
I just really want her skull. I just really,
That's fair.
I think that'd be a nicer memorial because I have another dog, Harvey, who died of a seizure years and years and years ago. But I had him. I kind of went the traditional route with him. I
Also died around San Diego Comic Con.
Ah, the San
Yeah.
Diego Comic Con curse.
Yeah, and I had him kind of taken care of traditionally, where the vet cremated him and sent the ashes. And looking back, I regret that. I regret that. I wish I'd gotten his skull too. I just think that's a nicer keepsake.
Yeah, that's fair. Everyone has their own ways of coping.
Yeah. I mean, keep in mind, I am the woman who mummified her pet rat. So.
Yes. Whereas me,
Yeah,
I don't want none of that.
Yeah, I totally get it. I totally get it. Yeah, I don't. The thing that was actually kind of fun though,
Oh, no.
if it could be said to be, you know, air quotes fun.
I don't know.
When I called up the home euthanasia people, I'm sure that God, this woman who answered the phone, she was incredibly cool. But while I was talking to her about home euthanasia, I was like, "Hello, okay, so yeah, thank you for the information. I have another question that's kind of out of left field. Uh, I would like to keep my dog's skull. Do you have anybody who could you could recommend to do that?" And her immediate answer is like, "Oh yeah, when my snakes die, I keep their skulls. But sorry, no, I don't know anyone who would do that. It's kind of strange that there's no one around who would do that here. But no, I can't recommend anybody local. We don't have anyone on staff or anything."
Do you know what a lot of rat keep owners have recommended doing that they have done that I could never do because of my situation, and I still can't do?
What?
They will get very large flower pots, and that's where they put their rat's body, and they'll just like put a plant over them, and then re-dig them up years later.
Oh wow, that's kind of nice.
And that way you can also, but also if you don't want to dig them up, you can take them with you. If you don't have a yard, that's the benefit of schmal creature.
Wow. Yeah.
My my mom, I was with my mom for 5 years, and rats don't live very long, so 5
Yeah.
years is a lot of rats, and there are enough rats buried in her backyard that they've been talking about maybe putting in a pool, and she paused and she was like, oh my god, all the little rats I'll be digging up. It's like, and I was like, it's fine, I don't mind. She goes, I mind.
Maybe you should go for the Gambian pouched rat.
No, thank you.
The giant rat.
No.
Everybody Google Gambian pouched
They
rat.
don't have domesticated lines yet.
They are wild in the Florida Keys.
I know. I don't want a wild animal. I want a
They
domestic
are
one.
wild.
Spike.
Wild in
One
the
spike.
Florida Keys.
So are
I'm
out.
just thinking about there was years ago a Craigslisting in Portland about free capybara.
No.
And then there's like, listen, here's all the things you would need to prepare.
Oh
in
yeah,
your
the
life.
horrible
You have a capybara in
Crappy
your home.
Barbara.
And it's just
The crappy
nightmare.
Barbara.
Like
Yeah.
they're like they can't be around menstruating women.
me,
They can't be around
Why
like
not?
Okay, well, this one
I
specifically.
it was something about the smell that it drove this one to violence. And then it was like this is what you're gonna have to clean up on a regular basis. Get prepared for
They
the
moved
musk.
the rat headstones,
And,
but not
like-
the rat graves.
Why did you move the graves?
Sorry, that got me.
So the whole listing is just like, this is a nightmare creature to take care of. Anyway, it's free for whoever wants it.
See, what that makes me think of is another person I watch on YouTube. Like all my content these days is YouTube that I watch. There is a guy.
Look, TV,
He is of
cable
Amanda's-
TV will
he is
not
of
give us this shit.
He is of Amanda's people. He is a Texan, and he runs something called the Urban Rescue Ranch.
Oh, him.
Yes,
The
and,
guy I'm scared of is gonna say something terrible any day, and I'm like, damn it,
Yeah.
I can't watch you anymore.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I've been watching him for a long time, and if he's horrible, he hides it well. I'll say that about him. But he has 4 crappy barbras. He has 4 capybaras.
Four crappy barbaras, yes.
It's me.
It's me, Creepy Frank.
Creepy Frank.
Creepy Frank.
Yeah, he has 4 capybaras, and God, they're a lot of fucking work.
Oh, yeah.
God.
Yeah.
Because like crappy barbras, like they like to shit in water, and so they need a pool to shit in. So you have to fill up their kiddie pool so they can climb in and shit in it, and you have to make sure you're draining it, regularly, because in the wild they're shitting in rivers, and the river is just like carrying their shit away. But they can't be left to marinate in their own feces in captivity, so you need to take care of that. And of course, if they're gonna fight, and they have these gigantic little rodent incisors, so they're gonna just tear each other up when they fight, and they're scared of you, and they're just so big, and they're ravenous, and it just seems like a lot for a creature. Forgive me, everyone. That does not seem very likable or charismatic.
Eat shit, they're
You're
very
cute
charismatic.
from a distance.
They're not. They're really not.
Wow.
You're very cute from a distance.
How dare you?
They're really like, I understand a lot of the animals this urban rescue ranch guy keeps, because like he has this, holy shit, I had no idea prairie dogs were this great. Like I didn't know.
Oh,
prairie
yeah,
dogs could
prairie
be that
dogs are
cool.
wonderful.
he has a prairie dog named Big Ounce, everyone, and Big Ounce lives in the house with him. And he is how I learned that the sound a prairie dog makes when it greets you
Yep.
happily is called a wahoo.
Yep. And it sounds
And
like wahoo.
yeah, it goes "Meow," and like it just stands up on its little black legs and just screams in delight when he comes close. And it loves to be scratched, and it loves to cuddle, and it loves to eat, and it loves to burrow. It's like it's as if it's domesticated. It's not. It's tame, but
No,
it's
no, they are domesticated. I mean, semi-domesticated. Like it came.
semi-domesticated.
Yeah, they have
Mm.
lines. I mean,
Oh,
it's
okay.
here's the thing. This one was very unethically like this one was got from a pet store in terrible conditions.
Yeah.
But they are you can get some that are like kind of chill. They
Kind of. Yeah.
the
Well.
wild has been bred out of them. They're not quite domesticated. Kind of like
Mhm.
how like oh, what's it called? I'll remember later. Anyway,
Mhm.
but yeah, no, like they're sort of like pet animals.
But Big Ounce is so cool. Like,
Is
I
this
had
the
no
guy
idea.
who gets in he has to defend himself
From
from his
Kevin.
emu that hates him?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's another thing.
Araya.
Yeah, this guy, the Urban Rescue Ranch guy has a Rhea named Kevin, who,
Sucks.
if I owned him, he would have been dead years ago, quite
Yeah.
simply. Because I'm not going to own something that literally tries to attack me every time it sees me. And he took Kevin because again, it is a animal rescue, and the owners were straight up like, "Come get him, or we're killing him." And I understand those owners absolutely because Kevin, every time he sees this guy, attacks him. And a lot of times he makes him bleed. He bites him hard and all over his arms. And frankly, one time he almost got his fucking eye. And I thought, now he'll stop being so casual around this goddamn bird because it pecked like the spot like an inch under his eye and made it bleed.
When I
So
started
now he
when I
lost his
started
shit.
watching Urban Rescue Ranch, I was like, ha ha ha, Kevin, so funny, and I would share it with
Mm.
people. But the more time has gone on, the more I'm like, I fucking hate that bird.
Yeah, there's no taming him down. There is no getting him used to things. Kevin is just like this weird, hateful monster.
Yeah, it's just like, especially once you like get to see the other rheas and emus and
Yeah.
ostriches, and like none of them are like this. What is your problem, Kevin?
Yeah, every other because he owns a whole bunch of ratites for some reason. He has an
'Cause they're
ostrich.
cool.
He has emus. He has other rheas. They're all just very placid. They're just no thoughts, head empty.
I mean,
They're
the
fine.
ostrich isn't full grown yet. I'm sure that'll change.
But the ostrich like lets him pet it and lets him kiss it.
It kind of makes sense that if he's an animal rescue that the ostriches and the emus would be chiller because people do eat them.
That's
So-
true. That's true. I've eaten ostrich. It's
So
tasty.
like the ostriches and emus most likely to be in the area and need rescue probably come from lines that were food.
A lot of them are ones he's kind of technically fostering. He's going to give them back once they're old enough. Like
Although
Mhm.
I know the ostrich. The ostrich, by the way, is named Homelander. I know Homelander's whole deal is that the death rate for hatching ostriches is like ridiculous. It's very high, and sometimes when the ostriches hatch, they have screwed up feet or knock knees or twisted feet, and in the wild they just fucking die. And a lot of these larger ostrich farm operations kind of don't really give enough of a shit to provide the level of care to the baby ostriches that would allow them to survive these deformities. They just sort of just let them die. And what he did is he went to the ostrich farm and he just took Homelander as a baby off of the ostrich farm and just raised Homelander and made sure that he had splints as he grew so his feet would grow straight. And he'll talk about that sometimes. It's like, yeah, on ostrich farms, babies like this are born all the time and they just fucking euthanize them because they don't have the time to put splints on their legs and retrain how they walk so their feet grow properly.
I do appreciate that, when he's doing his videos about like the baby rat tights, he'll always talk about like, I'm just letting you know, do not get attached. These could die any day now. This is just
Yeah.
how it is. They die easy, they die quick. In fact, he made the mistake of naming one and he said, I'm not doing that again until they reach
Yeah.
a certain age because they can eat a twig and die.
There was a thing that happened on he would refer to it as the deep urban rescue ranch lore. There was a thing that happened where he had a possum named Poppy, I think. And
Yes.
it was fucking cool. I love those animals because they're so ugly and weird. I love them. So I always enjoyed
Yeah.
seeing her. And he would, he'd do some goofball shit. Like he would pretend to be answering the door to his camera
It's
person.
my
and be like,
fursona.
well, hello there. Have you seen my possum Poppy? I can't find her anywhere. And she'll be like sitting on his head. And I love that shit. I eat that shit up. It's great. But he did acknowledge she's a wild animal. And at some point he let her go and he just let her start kind of be wild around his house.
Well, also he literally has to.
Yeah, because she's native.
Yeah, he
wild.
can't like a part of the qualifications for being an animal rescue is he can't keep local wildlife like as pets. He has to let
Indefinitely.
them
Yeah.
go because otherwise that's not
That's
what
not a
you're here
rescue.
for.
Yeah. But he let her basically go about her own business and she turned his yard and surrounding environs into kind of her territory and he'd see her sometimes and not see her for a few days and that's just kind of what things were for weeks and weeks. But then Poppy came into the yard and because Poppy is a possum, killed one of his chickens and ate her.
Yeah.
And he was very well adjusted about it. He was like, this is just kind of what Poppy's gonna do because the chicken had grown up with Poppy, so wasn't afraid of her. And so Poppy came over and just killed her one night while he was
Was
asleep
that
in the house.
Like
Nugget
my
or a
master plan
different
has
chicken?
worked. I was playing the long game.
Oh,
Yeah.
if only possums were smart.
Yeah, that was Nugget, Amanda. Yeah, Nugget was a Rhode Island red hen who again, since he's a rescue, he took in this hen that had a skewed beak, so the beak grew wrong and needed manual trimming regularly if the bird was able to eat. So he took in Nugget and took care of Nugget. And Nugget grew up with Poppy, and Poppy and Nugget were air quotes friends. And then one day Poppy just succumbed to her natural urges. And he was not fucked up about it. I was very surprised how not fucked up about it he was.
He was sad, but he was
Yeah.
he was still sad, but like
He was sad, yeah.
he was not
but,
mad at Poppy.
Yeah, he was very understanding. It's like that was Poppy being the possum.
Here's the thing, that was not a big chicken and it was also not a smart chicken that the
Yeah.
possum got. And
And it did
possums,
think-
people don't realize possums are omnivores. They do eat animals
Mhm.
opportunistically, but they do eat them.
Yeah. And he also has you know what I'm kind of waiting for? Not to turn this into like Urban Rescue Ranch Hour, but you know what I'm waiting for? He also has a kangaroo. And the kangaroo is named Da Baby. And the kangaroo is growing into adulthood right now.
That kangaroo
and
is gonna kick his ass one
and
day.
it's gonna fucking kill him. It's gonna hurt him bad one day because he has grown up kind of play fighting with this kangaroo. It's a male. He has grown up play fighting with this male kangaroo that is very quickly growing and getting very muscly and not pulling its punches even slightly. And it does that thing where it balances on its back tail and then kicks both its feet forward. And when it does that, I just think to myself, it's gonna tear your intestines out. It's gonna get you one day. It's gonna get you bad. You need to not do this ever again. But he still does it.
He seems pretty responsible with other animals, so I kind of hope the bigger it gets, he is going to distance himself more. He did get it a friend, I think, with the idea I think it's a rescue, but I think the idea is y'all can go do your thing over there and don't fuck with me.
Mm.
But
I'm also
he
a
could,
big
but
fan
I've
of-
also seen other people who don't get the hint and think, no, it's fine.
Get hurt
It's fine.
real bad. Although I like Master Ugoe too. He got a tortoise.
Oh yes.
And the tortoise is it's very it's harmless. You know, it wanders the entire area and just gets itself wedged in strange places. So I'm very into Master Oogway the tortoise. So yeah, anyway, what I'm saying is you should watch Urban Rescue Ranch. It's a very nice little chill out channel, even though he is not remotely chill. He feels very children's entertainer. He has Minecraft YouTuber vibe about him.
It's on
But
purpose. It's part of the
it's
joke.
yeah, it's definitely intentional, and he's doing it on purpose, and
Oh,
he's
if you
doing
ever
it
want to
very
see
well.
something fucking wild, go way, 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 way back in his video archive, and he does videos where he's just being like, "Hi, this is I do a rescue out of my home and blah 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 blah." It's so fucking funny to be before he started doing the shtick.
Yeah, I kind of like those videos before the YouTubers kind of like find their individual voice, and they're just sort of amorphous and generic.
Local man, looking forward to being local man killed by 4,000 salamanders.
He died as he lived, covered in salamanders.
I want to talk about comics.
But I wanted to talk about possums.
Go for it, Cal.
Aw.
I'm sorry.
No, go for it. It's okay.
I don't watch Animal Rescue.
And I don't know
Yeah.
anything about celebrities and SAG, and y'all talked about that for ages.
No.
Humph.
We talked about that for like 15 minutes.
Cal, what comics do
we're-
you want to talk about?
Vinland Saga.
Not
Vinland
poor
Saga
Kel.
is really, really good.
I'm gonna go Google that.
At San Diego Comic-Con, it was announced that they're doing fancy special editions. The reason why I like Vinland Saga is it starts and you think it's going to be a basic revenge story.
Uh-huh.
And then the guy that he wants to get revenge on dies.
Mm-hmm.
Unrelated to his actions.
Fair enough.
So he cannot actually ever get the revenge that he has been trying to get like his entire life.
That's disappointing sounding.
So what it becomes though is like a meditation on violence, and it's a character who he has dedicated over 10 years of his life to single-mindedly focusing on this revenge plan.
Mm-hmm.
It is taken away from him, and then he has nothing because since he was so single-minded on revenge, he has no other like connections in life.
Uh-huh.
And he has only known fighting and violence. And now that he is forced to stop and like think about what he's been doing his entire life. And also he's a Viking and they do not pull their punches on how bad Vikings can be.
Vikings
so he
can
has
be
to like
truly terrible.
he has to interact with people whose villages he helped burn down. Like he has to figure out like basically what does he do now with his entire life. And it is at the very beginning his father, who was a very famed Viking warrior, tells him no one is his enemy, and he does not understand that until after he is incapable of getting like revenge. So I really like it because it is very contemplative on like the nature of violence and vengeance, and philosophically what does that get you in life, and using Vikings to talk about it, because everyone else is like, no, you have to get revenge or else that means like your whole family is like dishonored, and like people will use it as an excuse to fuck with you if you don't follow through on trying to get this
blood debt repaid.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's kind of like it's very much an eye for an eye leaves the whole world blind sort of messaging. And it's just really good comics.
It's also an anime from the look of things.
It is an anime, but the comics are like
Better.
using the layout of the page. They're using the medium in a way that can only be done in comics, and I always
Right.
like that.
Fair enough.
So it's
Fair
not
enough.
that the anime is bad. It's just it's not giving me that itch of um when people do good comics.
Okay. Well, then
Yeah.
maybe I will check it out at some point. I could go for a
And the
contemplative
guy
anime.
who makes it was at San Diego Comic Con. Um and they had a bunch of his original art hanging up. So I got to see some of his originals.
Comics at San
So
Diego
it
Comic Con? How bizarre.
Yeah, crazy. Um
No.
I also saw a cool Junji Ito exhibit.
Oh, nice. Where was that?
Yeah. That was also at San Diego.
Hmm. Where are they having these exhibits these days?
Well, so the Kodansha one, the Vinland Saga one was very tiny in the Kodansha booth. Like they
Ah,
weren't selling anything, they were just promoting that you can pre-order this special edition. Here's the guy's originals for you to look at.
okay.
Um and then the Junji Ito exhibit is they took over a ballroom in the hotel, one of the hotels near the con.
Okay.
Um
That's cool.
so yeah,
That's kind of got
yeah.
Angoulême vibes.
Yeah, so it was really cool. I got to see his weird drawings of his cats in person. Um I love his cat diary comic.
How many people are in here?
Oh, with
Hold
the
on.
evil cat. What is it, Jan?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's just a couple people in here. So I've been having thoughts.
Oh
This is coming
no.
up. No,
Yeah.
this is coming up on
No.
because of Gingy Eater. I've been having thoughts. Like,
Okay, Spike, when you talk that low, it doesn't sound good and I can't hear you.
sorry, I've been having thoughts, is what I've been saying. And so I feel there is an opportunity that has presented itself. And I would be a fool to not seize this opportunity because the world is now full of people who have, hi Jay Brooks, who have come to understand that if they are to give their creative produce to large studios, that popularity will not save them, that being high art will not save them, like kind of nothing will save them if said studio decides they need to save some money on their tax return this year. Like there doesn't seem to be any rhyme or reason to what gets to survive and what doesn't. And recently, studios such as Paramount, if they haven't straight up announced it, their actions have made it clear that they're focusing more and more on licensed work. And so there's kind of the entryway is not non-existent now. I'm not going to say something like that, but it's narrower than it used to be if you want to do the cartoon. You know what I mean? And I was thinking to myself yesterday, what would be really cool if I took the anthology model that we made at Iron Circus and, you know, saw how that worked.
You want to cat wrangle multiple animators
Not
on
quite.
multiple
I
different
was thinking what
projects?
I was thinking, and this is, see, we're gonna have to delete this one day but what I was thinking was, what I would
That's
love
on
to
you to
see?
remember.
I would love to see, like, imagine something like Emily Carroll Presents or something, and we could take her one woman anthologies of horror and make animated shorts that are like standalone animated shorts, because animated horror is clearly a thing people like and enjoy, and it's something that I know so many really good horror cartoonists of many varieties, and maybe if Emily's stuff works out, we
You're
could
getting
talk to
super eye
them.
patch wolfy.
Sorry, it's these are thoughts I've been having. These are
No,
thoughts I've
it's
been
not
having.
the words, it's the sounds.
Yes, anyway, those are the thoughts I'm having.
You're making me want to unzip my skin and throw it at you.
Sorry. Anyway, those are thoughts I'm having.
They're interesting thoughts.
They are interesting thoughts. They're very interesting. I feel like in a lot of
But
ways
they make me anxious because, like, that's a lot of people.
that is a lot of people. That is a lot of people. That is a lot of
Separate
people.
studios.
Oh yeah. But
Sounds like hell on earth.
all I can say is that there are, all right, like strike or not, there's so many people who would be happy to bail on what's going on right now.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
I'm done. We can change the
Um,
subject now. I'm done.
I'm going to share with you some of the cool things I saw at the Junji Ito exhibit.
Did you see the eyeball girl with the hole in her head from Uzumaki?
Yes, I did.
Oh,
course they did.
cool. Please tell me there's whiteout on there.
Not really.
Damn it. For my self-esteem. It needs to be imperfect.
I posted it.
Oh, it's not imperfect at all. God damn it.
He like types up and then cuts out the letters.
I'm going to read it.
You
So
know what it
there's
makes
her
me
head.
think of?
What?
Whenever people see for the first time Melanie Gilman's original pages,
Yeah.
and just like, wait, they're impossibly small. They're impossibly perfect. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Here's one with whiteout on it.
Donate shimatanda. Donate shimatanda. Ho 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 ho.
Oh, Spike. Here,
Yeah,
I'm unzipping my skin.
What? I'm just she has the sort of like evil woman laugh.
I know what you're reading. It's still an
And then
auditory
here's
nightmare.
Here's one of the Vinland Saga pages.
Okay, let's see some Vinland Saga. Oh man, screen tones. Remember those?
Yeah, they're very popularly still used.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Actual screen tones on a page. Fucking wild.
That's still really
Yep.
common, Spike.
I thought most people just used Manga Studio.
It really depends.
Well,
If you're
Americans, yeah.
like a lot of there are a lot of like Japanese artists that switch to digital, but like if this is already your workflow and you have a million deadlines, why would you
Yeah,
change
he
it?
started this in the 90s. So
Oh, it's old. Okay.
Like just because
he's been doing it forever.
like digital can be faster, but if you already know this, why would you switch?
Yeah.
Because you like once you got this down, you can do it. You can just do it. You can just do it quick.
Oh my god, Alan Lord just pressed the exact button. Alan Lord just said an Iron Circus style robot carnival or memories. Fuck. Oh no. Oh no. Now I can't ever rest until it happens. Oh no.
Yeah, but that was all still like one team.
Not really.
I mean, kinda.
Robot Carnival was definitely not one team.
Eh.
No, it
Okay,
really
I
was.
was wrong. It did not start in the 90s. It started in the early
Unless
2000s.
I'm mixing it up with something else.
Oreno. Nyen. Oreno nyen. Ima. No. Nakaniru. I don't know what that means, but I can read it.
I'm so
My
tired.
vocabulary is bad, but I know my hero.
Oh, speaking of
They're
screen tones.
also talking about medieval politics, so that's not going to be in Duolingo.
Speaking of screen tones, I can share something with y'all that I started and finished. Well, not finished, but I drew it.
I did that.
I did. Well, no, it's also screen tones. It's relevant,
Okay.
but also so there's no, but there's again nobody watching really. I'm very very slowly starting to build my buffer for the webcomic I want to launch next year.
Hey, nice one.
Very 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 slowly, literally one page every 3 months probably. But
Honestly,
that's not
fucking mood.
nothing.
Fucking mood.
That's not
fucking
nothing.
mood. I stopped doing ordinary because I have so much shit going on right now, but I will go back to it. And the thing is, the stuff I made still up, not going away, won't go anywhere.
Actually, you know what? I'm gonna put. You know what? I'm gonna put it on screen. It'll be a stream special thing. Blink and you miss it. But no, I've talked about it before, where it's like I have a lot of faith in this comic, and like after shopping it around, there's a part of me that's like, fuck it, I can do it myself. I can do it myself.
Oh, I do need to share with you both the best cosplayer at San Diego that Amanda should put on screen.
I will
Oh.
after I'm done sharing my page because I'm a narcissist.
Hey, there he is. God. So San Diego was qualitatively different this year,
And
correct?
then I will remove it. It's gone. Okay, now let me find this cosplayer.
Like it had to be.
The interior was not that different because, like, in the con hall, because everyone who is only there
this is
for
huge.
celebrities, Spike, they're never at the con hall anyway. They're all in line for Hall H or whatever panel.
Okay.
So the con hall where people are buying stuff felt kind of the same.
Oh, okay.
Okay, y'all, sorry. This is really crunchy because it was a huge image that got scaled down, so sorry about the crunchiness. But here's the cosplayer that Kel was talking about.
Basically what was different though is there wasn't any of the escape rooms or whatever that took over parking lots right outside the convention center. So it was much easier to navigate the sidewalk.
I'm assuming no God, who are those horrible people?
My
With the
dad?
slur sign. Stop it. The slur signs. They pretend to be
Oh
like
no, they
Christian.
were still there.
Oh, they were there. Okay, cool. Good for them.
Spike, did you see the protesters at ALA?
The ones who are literally protesting books.
Well, the library, yeah. But did you see them? I didn't get a chance to see them.
I was told all about them, but
Damn
I did
it!
not see them.
Neither of us
Yeah.
saw them.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway.
But yeah, for folks who don't know, at the American Library Association annual that Amanda and I did together, that we had Jesse Sharon and Ryan Estrada down for, there were protesters. They were very small, unobtrusive, and easily missed, as we are clearly demonstrating.
They had bagpipes.
They did have bagpipes and apparently a giant Virgin Mary statue.
Yes.
And they were there to protest
Libraries as a
Yeah, this-
concept, basically.
It's just so fucking like, holy shit. Like, how did humanity get this far?
I mean, it's always been this way.
Yeah, but the fact it's gotten this far is kind of amazing.
Nah.
Just, oh god. Honestly, you know what? No, it's not, because keep in mind that for Europe, there was just that whole fucking period where they straight up went backwards for like centuries. So there
I
is
mean, that's a bit of a misconception, but yeah, kinda,
Yeah.
sorta.
that. Sorta, kinda.
There
Sorta, kinda.
was recently a thing I saw on Tumblr that someone taking pot shots at the Irish because they were like, "Oh, whiskey's invented, and then Ireland didn't invent anything for 300 years." And the first
Ugh.
reply was, "Yeah, it's almost like that timeline lines up with some historical event that involves colonialism and genocide, and
Yep.
yeah, maybe they had other concerns."
Yeah. Oh goodness. I am not to like I'm ruining it for myself. I should not be doing this, but I am. I am going through some Vinland Saga stuff right now. You know, it has been acquired. It's not difficult to find. But yeah, wow. You weren't kidding about the brutality of the Vikings not being no punches being pulled.
Yeah.
I wonder if for reference he used that Arabian like tourist's diary because he had a few things to say about Vikings.
I mean, he talks. There are essays in the back of each volume where he talks about the research he did.
Mm.
Um, and one of the characters is King Canute. Um, so he had some historical documents to go off of. But yeah, it's good shit.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm just scrolling through it right now.
I wonder if
I'm
I
just
turn my
kinda-
AC back on, if it'll bug people.
It will. I'm so bugged right now. How fucking dare you?
It's not on!
I'm so angry. How could you do this to me? How could you?
You
do this to
haven't,
me?
look,
I've never been more upset in my
you
life.
haven't been to my apartment yet.
Oh, is it
You
hot?
can't be sassy with, no, I just want you to
Oh.
be at my apartment. I want you
Oh,
to
okay.
visit.
That would involve leaving the room.
I know. Go to lunch with me, Spike.
I'll consider leaving the house soon. I promise. It's been quite the past couple weeks.
I know.
It's been quite. There's been a lot of emergency meetings. I think Kel has been to one of them. There's a lot going on that we did not plan for because planning for it would have been the height of delusion and hubris.
I'm saying this like I am not like overbooked and tired as well.
I know, right?
Like
I
my
know about
energy,
you.
like before we started recording, Spike was just like, dude, it's okay if you want to call it off for tonight. It's like, no, I'm gonna do the show. We need to do a show.
Yeah, we absolutely do need to do a show because it's important that people realize we're still alive.
Oh, I don't let anyone forget that.
Same.
I'm dying.
On the inside, on the outside, just die. Just fucking die.
Oh God, did I? I've also, on top of everything, I've been a little demoralized and, Spike, you heard about the bad psychiatrist visit, yes?
Oh yes, I did.
Okay, good. I'm not gonna retell the story for the stream. I'm just, oh my God.
Just a really shitty psychiatrist.
Yeah, ever since then, I've been kind of a little bit demoralized because one, I'm really busy, and two, I'm really stressed, but also like, I was looking, like, it sounds silly, but I was really looking forward to that appointment. It was like, oh, good, answers, maybe I'll get referrals or something, and it was just a big old nothing burger that was also extremely insulting, and I'm like, the drive to go elsewhere and try again is just like, I don't want to do it.
Yeah, I can understand.
But I
because it
need
was
to
such a
do it.
Negative experience.
Well, it also took me fucking months to get that appointment.
Yeah.
Ah! Does Ravioli attack visitors? Will she taste it? So far, she is extremely friendly with visitors. She just is a love bug.
Oh.
She basically, when Abby Lurkey visited, she aggressively forced Abby to love her.
Oh.
Yeah, no, she's a little lover. She's a sweetheart.
That's good to know.
She doesn't like the cats in the parking lot by my apartment, though.
She mean mugs through the window.
Yes.
She's got beef.
Oh
Yeah.
yes. Actually, I think it was Fierce who made the joke that like, no, she knows how easy it is to actually get in here, so she's not gonna let another cat steal her like spot. She's like, no. It was so easy to break in and manipulate this chick. Any other cat could do it too. I'm not gonna let that happen.
Yeah. Because you will keep a second one.
I mean, I don't know. This is a small apartment. And I
can
have
see you
rats.
not being able
If
to
I
just get
didn't
the rest,
have the rats, yes.
yeah. Okay.
Because frankly, it would be better for Ravioli because she is a very playful cat. And again, she bites my microphone arm. Like, she
Aw.
chews metal. It's like, why are you doing this, you creature? So I would love her to have a little playmate, but I have, again, I still have 3 rats, and they are my last rats. I'm not getting more rats,
Yeah.
but that doesn't mean I'm not gonna have rats soon. I still got rats for at least 2 years.
Yeah.
So I don't want 3 rats and 2 cats.
Yeah. Yeah, I get it. That might be a little bit much.
All it takes is like one cat getting coincidentally sick at the same time as one rat. And if one rat's sick, it's probably going to make another rat sick. It just like
Yeah.
it's mostly just a cascade of vet bills and I can't do it.
Yeah. Lucy near the end was going to the vet fairly frequently, and she racked up about $1,000 in bills near the end just for all her medication and visits and tests. And it was just one of those things where it's like, oh God, you know, and they don't charge by the pound at the vet. Lucy does not cost significantly more than a rat does, and a rat, if it's getting, I don't know, an ultrasound, you're
Yep,
getting
full
the
price.
ultrasound
Yep.
cost. They're not going to be all like, yeah, it's £2. They're not going to be
Yep,
like
it's
that.
full price for euthanasia, for medications, for uh x-rays. It's just full price for
Mhm.
everything and you're just like, but and then I tried to once be like, well, can I bring all 3 of them? And they're so little. You can look at like, no, it's one price for each of the rats. I'm like, okay, fine.
Yeah, yeah, they'll get you. They'll get you.
And
And
I get it. It's they gotta earn their
Mhm.
living. I get it, but it's like, but they're rats.
Mhm.
But they're
Mhm.
rats.
And they can be wildly expensive if you have bunches and two get sick at once.
Yeah,
And it's and not in an obvious way. And so they need an ultrasound or an x-ray, and then suddenly you have like literally an $800 bill or
I've
something.
thought about making a mini comic that's just like what they don't tell you about rats. Because don't get me wrong, I adore rats. I'm approaching my 10 years of keeping them, but there's some things that people don't tell you that might be deal breakers, and I think more people should know it. I mean, I'll follow it
Interesting.
up with obviously, and then at the very end, these are all the reasons that rats are amazing, and I love them, and I kept them for like 10 years. But
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
do feel like there should be a pamphlet to be like, hey, before you buy that rat.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that this is a thing that is a valid sort of. All right, we do not measure the love we give and receive to pets chronologically. If a dog lives 3 years, it is not somehow less than a dog that lives 10. I think we can all agree on that.
But it is a tragedy.
But like every 2 or 3 years getting smacked with like a $2,000 vet bill, like that being a potentiality, is a thing that happens with rats, but not with dogs and cats. And that is a thing I do consider when it comes to pet ownership, and what made me kind of move on to dogs.
Yeah.
Like Lucy did rack up that $1,000 vet bill near the end, and she was on pet insurance and all that other good stuff. She did occasionally, need to go in for a teeth cleaning and need to go in for her rabies vaccinations and such, obviously. But she didn't need to
Exotic animal care anthology win.
yeah, she
That would
did
be
not
fun.
like body slam me with an insane bill every 2 years. So there is at least that.
It,
And
it hasn't been constant, but there have been,
yeah.
yeah, there have been years when it's just like I can't.
Yeah.
But also
Yeah.
like what some things they don't tell you. Again, you kind of understand they have different personalities, but
Yeah.
I don't tell you. Oh, you might just get an aggro rat who that
Yeah.
sorry, it likes
Yeah.
people. It will murder another animal,
And there
including other rats.
and
Guess
you'll sit
what?
there.
You have 2 rat cages now.
Yeah, and you'll read a thing that's all like rats are social and they thrive in the company of their fellows. And you're like, oh, okay. And you put the rat in the cage, and like it immediately tries to murder its roommate. And now you have the naughty rat cage. You have the gay baby jail for the super aggro rat, and now you need to get a third rat because the friendly rat still needs a friend.
Yep, that's how it happened. I had a little 300 something square studio apartment and 2 rat cages. One for the evil rat and his brother, the only rat he loved because he couldn't be alone. And then the baby rat that was supposed to be their buddy, he couldn't be alone, so he needed a friend. And then I had 2 giant rat cages in a like tiny little studio apartment, and I was just like, And a cat. And a cat. And it was one of those, this is not how it was supposed to go.
No, that's not how it's supposed to go at all. But hey, that's what can happen. Also, rats. Here's the thing that's fun about rats.
Yes, despite all its rage.
Days. Rats have pretty thick skin. And this is actually something they share in common with a lot of wild animals.
Well, not so much thick. It's more loose than thick, but it's pretty hardy skin.
Yeah. And what happens when animals have thick skin? And this is something that comes up because I spent a good week in bovine veterinary medicine YouTube. When a animal with thick hide gets a cut, now it doesn't work out the same way it does with humans. We're actually fairly thin skinned. If you get a cut and it gets kind of infected, it turns red and angry and maybe it weeps a little bit. But if an animal with thick skin gets that same level of infection, the skin is literally too thick for things to come to a head like a pimple would. So an abscess develops on their skin. Humans can also develop abscesses, but it's not nearly as common. And frankly, it usually means that something gnarlier is going on under the surface. But like cows get abscesses and rats get abscesses. So if, let's say, 2 rats are play fighting and one kind of overdoes it and gives their friend a bite, next thing you know, you have like a hard-boiled egg-sized sack of pus.
Okay, it's not quite that big.
It can get that big.
It can, but that's like, gonna be honest, that's probably neglect on your part.
Yeah, but they can get abscesses, and those abscesses are just, wow, they're gnarly. But I remember one of my worst FedEx experiences is when I had a rat who did have an abscess on its back, and I thought I was going to do the responsible thing. See, this sounds fake. I swear to God, this is all completely true. I took the rat to the vet, and I was just like, my rat has an abscess, and I would like you to drain it. And I could tell right off I'd probably made a mistake coming to that vet specifically, even though I'd Googled them and been like, look for a rat-friendly vet, and they kind of thought it was hilarious I was bringing a rat to the vet. You know, I got one of those. And they took the rat into the back room, and I swear to you, I heard that rat screaming. So I don't know what they did, but they did not help that rat whatsoever. They were not kind to it. They did not give it any kind of pain.
I'm gonna be honest, that doesn't... Rats, while the screaming isn't common, but I've had rats scream at the vet just because the vet held them firmly.
Yeah, but this isn't a rat that screamed usually. Like, it never screamed at home.
Yeah, no, none of my rats screamed at home until I took them to the vet.
And
some of them are just crybaby babies.
What ended up happening is they brought the rat back out to me, and they were all like, yeah, you know, it won't hold still. That'll be $200.
Oh, yeah, no, yeah, I've heard that story before for sure.
And I was just like, are you fucking sick? I took the rat home, and what I ended up... So I paid $200, you know, plus travel to get it out to this special rat vet that clearly didn't give a shit and didn't know what it was doing.
Well, it wasn't a special rat vet.
Well, I mean, obviously, in retrospect. But I took the rat home, and what I ended up doing is I got a big washcloth and I soaked it in hot water and wrung it out so it was like 90% dry, but was still, you know, wet and hot. And I put the rat in my lap, and, you know, he was happy there. And I put the washcloth on his back, which is where the big abscess was. And we just sat there and we watched I watched YouTube videos, and he just kind of luxuriated under a warm washcloth for like 10 minutes. And then I just squeezed all the pus out myself, you know, because it softened the scab, and it all came out, and he was 100% better after.
I will say, probably that was probably unnecessary, just because unless it's a really bad one, there's some do need intervention, but usually they resolve on their own. You shouldn't do anything to them except just keep it clean. That
is not what I did, but I
was about to say future reference, like, no, Spike's never going to need this information.
No. Actually, one of the things that I've talked to Matt about is we are probably going to go through a petless phase for at least a couple of years now. Because one of the things we talk about a lot is wanting to travel, and we're probably going to end up doing that in the next year or so. We're probably going to go to places we've been wanting to go to. And it's just a lot easier when you don't have an animal that you need to figure out what you're going to do with. And so we're just going to do that for a couple of years. And then when we are done with that, we decide we would like an animal in our lives again. I made a deal with Matt ages ago that it was going to be a cat this time around. So we're going to probably go to the Anti-Cruelty Society again and get ourselves a kitten and see how that works out. But yeah, we're in for a couple petless years.
I'd recommend an older cat, but kittens are fine.
How dare you?
I'm just saying.
I require a black kitten.
No, that's fine.
A black Sphinx kitten.
And you're gonna find that at the animal shelter?
Absolutely. I'm going to find a black Sphinx kitten at
I
the
see.
animal. Yes.
What was that?
And I'm going to get myself a black.
I have
I'm
no
gonna-
idea what that sound
Let
was,
me
but
see,
I
are
know it
those-
was ravioli.
Let's look at pictures of black. Yes, that's what I'm getting. Yes. Look at that fucking. Oh, what is that? Yes. That's what I'm getting. God damn. What the
See,
fuck?
I wanted to adopt an older cat, but Ravioli decided, fuck you, no.
I'm looking at black Sphinx
Me
cats
now.
now, and they're everything I dreamed they would be. Oh, they're amazing. Oh, gross. Oh, it's so cool. I love it.
Oh yeah, I would love a hairless cat, but also
Yeah. I had a hairless dog. Harvey was a hairless dog. He was a hairless American Terrier, for folks who are curious, and he was lovely. I know you didn't like him, Cal, but he was lovely
well,
to me. He was
no.
my baby.
Kel was fine.
Cal didn't like Harvey.
Kel didn't dislike Harvey. Kel was just
Cal did not respect Harvey.
I didn't like Harvey.
No one respected Harvey. That's the thing. Harvey was the kind of dog who literally only liked me. So,
Oh, I see. Kel's muted.
yep.
I didn't realize. I was like, wait, why is Kel not responding? It's like, oh, never mind.
Oh, ooh, okay, yeah, Cal.
Oh,
we're
yeah.
done. We're done, Cal. Sorry about that. We're done. Hold on.
Kel can't hear. They're deafened too.
All right.
What is kitten syndrome, Kristen Cheney?
Well, no, it's only kitten syndrome. Basically, you get
Only kitten syndrome. Okay. I imagine that's basically like only child syndrome, where they think the world revolves around them or something.
I mean, more it's just they just don't have anyone to play with.
Oh, okay.
So they have too much energy.
Too much energy. They're gonna look to you to be the thing that they play with. And like you are not always capable of keeping a kitten entertained.
Yeah, that is true. I'm looking at Sphinx cats. Golly, they are pricey, are they not?
Oh yeah.
You'd think that
There's a very funny photo I saw of some Sphinx cats hanging out in a tub together.
Where
and
they're
person, where
Jesus.
they're in a tub together, and the
Did y'all hear
caption
that?
was thawing some chickens.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we did hear that, Amanda.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I have seen videos of the sphinxes, but because folks who don't know, sphinxes still produce the oils that a cat with fur would produce, and that builds up on their skin, so they need like weekly baths. That's like recommended. And because they've been getting this since they've been kittens, they're usually very chill about taking a bath. And when you give them a bath, you have to be careful not to let water get in their ears. So there are little special Sphinx shower caps you can buy them that tie under their little chins when you give them their bath. And I have seen video of like a person who owns like 3 sphinxes, and they're all in the bath for bath time, and they're all wearing their little shower caps. And it's so great because you're simultaneously like, that's the cutest shit I've ever seen, and oh, what a great disservice to nature. They're great though.
Um, yeah, I just think of that image like on some chickens because that is what they look like.
They do. They do. That's fair.
I
See,
am
now I'm just
sad I
looking,
don't have a hairless rat in my life.
I'm looking at Sphinx catteries now. I'm just looking at all the kittens. God, they're like little foreskins. Look at them go.
They're more like
Nasty
scrotes, really.
little scroats, little scroats. Except scroats have like a stray hair or two or three. Look at these little penises. My God. They're little penises.
I still think about when Twitter's algorithm used to censor my rat.
Because you'd be holding a little rat in your hand and it just
So
looks
Twitter, it didn't. They don't have it anymore. But Twitter used to have some kind of image scanning algorithm thing that would try to, I guess, determine whether something was nudity or not. And
What's Twitter?
shut up. I will not waste
I don't know
oxygen.
what Twitter is. There is not a single app out there called Twitter. What
I'm
are
gonna
talking
fight you.
about? What is Twitter?
By the way, I didn't realize. I guess I just took for granted. So when Twitter became X, they didn't put out like a notification like, "Hi, you might have noticed the app has changed." Blah 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 blah. And I didn't really think about that. I realized they didn't because my mom was texting me and was like, "What's the deal with Twitter? Why is it X? What's going on?" Because she's not plugged in. She doesn't know what's going on. Like she's just. She doesn't know anything about Musk. She just she knows nothing. And I was like, oh yeah, they didn't like put up a little pop up that says,
Well-
hey.
Well, the thing is they probably can't because like
That's true.
someone made a list of everything that has copyright trademark claims to X. And they cannot call it X. Like Meta owns the copyright and trademark to X related to social media. Google
Well, not
owns the
social media.
trademark and
It's different.
and then Google owns like the domain x.com and also owns like X in relation to technology. Japan X is a band, or X Japan
X
is a
Japan.
band. Yeah. So, yeah. So there's all these things where it's like he can't call it X, like legally.
Yeah, well, no one said it was smart.
Well, no, it's
A lot of people say it's smart, but
but that wouldn't have stopped them from again putting up a little pop up when you said, "Hey, the app is known as X now. These are the changes." It's just again, these are idiots running the show, so it's like it's not surprising, but it's wild to me because that's pretty standard operation for an app. If something changes,
Yeah, but he only wants people on the app that follow his every word. So
yeah, it's like because my mom was super confused. She was just like, "What happened to Twitter? What is going on?"
Yeah, it's fucking fascinating, like how huge a loser he is and doesn't seem to realize it. Like he's like such a fucking sucker, you know? It's
I
just,
mean, he does realize it, and that's why he's desperate to prove
Yeah.
that he's not.
it's so fucking wild to me that he's just
Nobody this desperately uncool trying to look cool doesn't deep down know.
They
Doesn't
are-
deep down not know they are not cool.
Yeah, he has the
And not that
exact
I don't think
same-
being cool is valuable, but he does.
Well, it's like, well, number one, I'm with you on cool not being valuable because like the most interesting people I know as an adult, they were definitely not cool, you know, when they were growing up or whatever. I can guarantee that. But like at the same time, I don't think he understands like the level of Trump vibes he gives off because like one of the perpetual things about Donald Trump was how badly he wished air quotes cool people liked him, and by his estimation cool people are Hollywood people. and he really, really wanted Hollywood people to like him. Like, it was pathetically needy how much he wanted Hollywood people to like him. And like, Musk has got that same fucking energy, dude. Like, the same energy.
He also has said in multiple interviews that he hates to be alone. And
I mean, same.
like, and he's like, and everyone's like that. And there was an interview that's like, no, there are some people that are perfectly happy with being alone. And he's like, that's not true. And it's like, he's like, those people are
Wow.
liars. Like,
Wow.
it's one thing to be like, I hate being alone, and that's me.
Yeah.
But to insist, no, everyone is like that.
It's very easy for me to believe he does not believe any experience outside his own is valid.
Mm-hmm.
Very easy. I just think it's fascinating how many kids he have that refuse to talk to him. Like, that's really indicative of
Just like my
something.
dad. Wait. So what's the kid count at? I'm curious. What's the kid count at for Musk?
God, isn't it like 4 at this point?
No, it's in the double digits.
You're shitting.
I get, if it's not 10
All right,
over
time
10,
to
it is
Google.
Hey, Google!
close.
How many
Elon Musk
kids does
children.
Elon Musk have? Google. Google away. 10. Fuck
See,
me.
I knew it was in the double digits.
Oh, this one says 6.
This one is 10.
Nope,
I'm gonna,
10.
This one's from July 24th, 2023, so it's probably current. Okay. He has...
Okay, it's 10 now.
one's dead.
Still counts. Okay. I still count my brother when I say 6.
Okay. All right, so he and then so she had twins. His eldest living children are 18.
Oh my god, he wanted to name one of his kids X.
Yes, he sure did. He's a fucking egomaniac.
I mean, he technically did. He just added on more Roman numerals, I think.
Yeah. And so, and then he just
XA12. Yeah.
And then he has another kid named Exa, EXA.
Good God, what is with his fascination with this fucking litter?
Oh God, he keeps having fucking kids. And you know why he has fucking kids? So many fucking kids,
Yeah,
right?
because he believes in eugenics.
Yeah, he thinks he's like a superior human being, and it's his duty to spread his seed. He's so. It's like I'm not saying anything. I'm sure most of you don't know, but just like saying it out loud, it just reminds me. I am freshly stunned with his like
Madam,
towering,
no. Oh, what?
his towering inadequacy as a
Fine.
man.
Bongos,
Like,
bongos are happening.
I'm so new every time I.
All right, sorry everybody. Bongos are happening. I've been bullied.
Okay. Yeah, and his daughter is trans and disowned him. Well, frankly, all his kids should disown him, but
I think a lot have.
Well, there was when he was insisting that people stop calling Twitter, someone, it was reported, man who refuses to stop using his child's dead name is upset that people won't refer to his app as his preferred name.
yeah. There was a lot of shit. By the way, everyone, hi. I'm on Blue Sky. You should join Blue Sky if you can. Yeah, there was a lot on Blue Sky that was all like, as a trans person, I officially give all reading this permission to dead name the shit out of Twitter. And it's like,
No, I don't have any flesh wounds from Ravioli. She's very good about not actually hurting. It's more that she's surprising, you know, when she says, yeah, it's playtime, give me that ankle. It's more she catches me off guard.
Okay.
She's not injuring me. She's being playful because she's not even like a year old yet.
By the way, I'd like to... This sounds like bullshit, but I swear to you it's true, everyone. I have been spending more time on Blue Sky than Twitter recently.
Yeah.
I go to Twitter, I do a few retweets, and the one place I now favor for Twitter, one thing I favor Twitter for, rather, is for some reason now on Blue Sky, who knows if it's permanent, who knows if it's temporary, a reply to a thread does not bump it in people's feed. So if you take maybe 15 minutes to get a tweet thread finished and out of you, it stays, 15 minutes back in the feed. It doesn't matter. And that does a lot to stifle conversation there. So when I have something I feel is interesting to say,
No,
I
stop
tend
that.
to put that on Twitter. And that is kind of the only thing I kind of favor Twitter for now. For the minute Blue Sky gets its shit together in that aspect, all my interesting shit is going on Blue Sky too. But the energy on Blue Sky is genuinely better.
Yeah, but
It's
that's gonna
genuinely
change.
It'll change as more people show up, but at the same time, I don't think it's possible for it to turn into a perfect Twitter clone, because Twitter is now kind of like this malevolent force. It is actually a damaging, malevolent force that favors incredibly damaging discourse with financial incentive. So that is a
Mhm.
model that literally doesn't
Well,
exist
like
on
the
Blue Sky.
other
And
problem.
also the people who are people came into Twitter brand fucking new. You know what I mean? Now Blue Sky is a thing where it has the years of experience of what Twitter is behind it. And right now I am already seeing people say things like, knock that Twitter shit off, when people try to get deep in the discourse.
But
But
it's still run by libertarians, Silicon Valley
it is.
idiots.
But keep in mind that I am not caping for Jack. I think Jack is a fucking asshole. Trust me. But at the same time, it was not Jack who was implementing what Twitter is going through right now.
Right, but he still before Elon Musk bought Twitter, it still had a problem with harassment and moderation, and it I feel like Blue Sky is probably gonna continue to have those types of problems, just because
Well, there's no
libertarian
platform.
Silicon Valley shitheads don't believe in moderation.
But again, it's like no platform is free of harassment.
Yeah,
No
like
platform is free of racism. No platform is free of all that shit.
I'm being
It's one of those
bullied.
things where you kind of need to decide on how you react to it. You can't keep it out forever, period. And what I have seen thus far on Blue Sky is an improvement on Twitter. I'm not saying it's perfect, I'm not even
yeah,
saying it's satisfactory, but what I'm saying is it's an improvement. And I think it's the kind of
yeah.
improvement that can only occur when you have Twitter in the rear view and don't want to do that again. I think Jack will disappoint us. I think Jack will fail us. I think he can't help it. I think his head is up his
Right.
ass.
This
I think his head is
I
in the
was more
sand.
agreeing with the vibes are better now because it's not open season yet. And
We'll see. I've seen very shitty communities that were like 20 people big, so I don't think size is
right,
necessarily
but
a factor.
well, it's just like right now it is easier for self-moderation.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas as soon as it gets not invite only, it's gonna start to get like
Yeah, I basically made a policy. Like I'm being real casual there, but the moment it's not
That's
invite
shitty.
only anymore, I'm gonna reduce my
Yeah.
talking there, because no, thank you. The vibes are only good because my reach is limited.
Yeah, if I gotta say
yeah.
something, like if it were up to me, and this will never be implemented, this isn't even like on the table for discussion. I should note that. But if it were up to
Mhm.
me, if some real shitheads signed up, not only would they be banned, whoever invited them would be banned too.
Yeah.
If it were up to me, that will never
Um
happen. Just want to make that clear.
That's I can see that getting
I
some
can see it too,
perfectly
but
fine people.
a perfectly fine person did not invite the person who made their username a racial slur.
I mean, they could have.
I sincerely doubt that.
Again, they just didn't know.
If that is true, they can wait for a new invite from somebody else and sign up again and then not invite that person again.
Okay.
But that would
Um,
absolutely cut down on like the volume of garbage for sure. If that was the kind of tactic
right.
that, but I know it won't happen, so I don't even know why I talk about it.
Yeah, I'm just saying that like time and time again,
Hmm.
conservative social medias fail
Yeah.
because their entire existence is predicated on being able to argue with people that hate them. Um,
Well, it's not even just
so
that. They want to ruin things for people they don't
right,
like. They have their conservative only platforms. They have multiple conservative only platforms.
right.
They
So
don't like it there.
right, that's what I'm saying is they
Yeah.
don't like it there because they need liberals to fight with
Yeah.
to stay to want to
The
engage with the platform.
the other
So
problem. Oh, sorry.
um so as soon as Blue Sky is not invite only, they're all gonna jump on there to argue with the quote unquote woke snowflakes.
Yeah. And here's the thing. I think that is a thing that the management is aware of. I can't tell you if they're going to do anything about it,
No.
but at the same time, I literally cannot deny that things are being done differently on Blue Sky in a way
mhm.
that is going to make me stick around to see how they shake out. I'm not saying it's
Yeah.
fixed. I'm not saying Jack has learned a fucking thing. It's still a for profit venture in end stage capitalism, and it will disappoint one day.
Yeah.
But I'm saying what I have seen is this is not just a copy paste of Twitter. It is simply just not.
Right, right.
I do
And we
enjoy
weren't
that.
arguing that it was a copy paste of Twitter. We were
Yeah.
just arguing the vibes will get worse.
Oh, for sure.
That's all.
That's
Yeah,
just
no.
how
That's
social
that
platforms
that's
get.
why the only
Yeah.
reason I was even making that argument is because I don't want to sell people on, oh, the vibes are good, because that's not something I can promise.
Well, the vibes are good now.
Yeah, but like again, I don't want to sell someone, oh, the vibes are good, that could change any day.
Yeah, I mean that goes for every social group.
I'm still going to
You
give a
know where the vibes
disclaimer.
are good right now?
Where
Tumblr.
ugh,
I've thought about going back to Tumblr a lot. When I
no.
have more time, I
I've-
might.
I've been
Tumblr-
enjoying Tumblr. Um, Tumblr is just like no one's here. Who gives a shit like vibe.
Yeah. The
That's what I
shit
go to co-host and pillow fort for.
the shit post scene on Tumblr is still excellent. I do like co-host a lot, but like it cannot beat the shit post community. The shit post community on Tumblr is a unique creature that just has not been supplanted.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so good.
But everybody, it is 10:03 p.m., so I think it's time to begin the sign off.
I'm gonna do mine
Um,
first so I can leave quick.
Okay, go for it, Amanda.
AmandaLafrene.com. Bye.
Oh, okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Spike. I run Iron Circus Comics and Iron Circus Animation. We have a backer kit running right now. Go to backerkit.com and scroll down. You'll see we're on the front page. We are currently the second most popular project on the site. It is for Lackadaisy Season 1. You heard right, Lackadaisy Season 1. We are funding an independent season of independent animation, Lackadaisy, based on Tracy Butler's Eisner nominated webcomic. We have hit our $1 million stretch goal, which means we have at least 5 episodes coming, but we have 3 weeks left to fund, and we have just added 2 new stretch goals. Please, if you love independent animation, if you love good stories, back Lackadaisy on BackerKit. You can follow me on Blue Sky, co-host, Pillow Fort, Spoutable, and Hive Social at Iron Spike, all one word. I linger like a bad fart on Twitter at iron_spike.
I'm Kel. I make comics about gay werewolves in the future that you can read at kelmcdonald.com. I also have a newsletter. There's too many social medias, so I'm not going to list them all, but they are linked on my website, kelmcdonald.com, so you just click them there. Anyway, I also stream on twitch.tv/CalMcDonald, so you should pop over there and watch me draw some evenings. That's it. Have a good one, everybody.
I lied. I'm
Bye.
still here.
Oh. Bye, everybody. Thank you. Please like and subscribe.
Bye.
Like and subscribe.